It's a hairpiece, isn't it? Oh my gosh, I know who the killer is. Oh my gosh. It's Ron Weasley, of course. He left his hair behind. It was a wig the whole time. Ugh, so obvious. So then on my 12th birthday, I got this really cool looking yukata, but it didn't even fit me. And I was devastated. I couldn't go to the festival, and it ruined my whole year, pretty much. Like, you wouldn't believe it. Go away, please. It's been 3 days. 3 days of this torment. Ooh, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I am the Story-Driven Gamer, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are hopping back into the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. In the last episode, we lost somebody important. A major character who goes by the name of Gregson. I was not expecting that at all. And Van Zykes, as you can see, is in jail. He's he's the accused anyway. I keep wanting to call him the culprit. I'm sure he's not. I'm sure you're innocent, Van Zykes. Thanks for that vote of confidence. But yeah, he's in jail. I'm trying to remember what happened before that. That was the prominent thing that happened. Oh yeah, right. It started off with meeting Sholmes' client. That's right. The whole, like, the major part of the episode had to do with that case, which was that juror number 2's, from the last trial, she's back and her husband went missing, so we want us to look into it, or Sholmes specifically to look into that. Sholmes sent us to talk to the warden, or, yeah, like the chief warden or whatever, because her husband worked at that prison as a warder, and we found out that he was dismissed 10 years ago, so apparently he hid that from his wife the whole time, unless she's lying or something. So that's crazy. And then we're figuring that out, and then this whole thing with Gregson happened, so now that's our priority. And now we're about to head to the crime scene. So I suggest we do that. Who is that? That's just a random police officer? Oh yeah, there's another one there too. 1st of November, room on Fresno Street. This really is an out-of-the-way part of London. I doubt many people find their way down this back street. So this dust-ridden rented old room is where it happened then. Don't cry, Susanoo. So this is where poor Inspector Gregson lost his life. Yes, and the police are already hard at work investigating, it seems. Oh, I didn't even bring up Gina. As you can imagine, she's distraught. She's devastated. I don't see Mr. Sholmes anywhere, though. Perhaps his investigations have taken him elsewhere. There she is. Oi, what do you think you're doing there? Every one of the drawers has got to be taken out right so you can look underneath and all. I want the space above the ceiling checked, and don't forget to look inside the chimney stack too. She's really taking charge. Blimey, ain't you lot never gone over an house looking for dough when the owners are out of town? No, it's just you, Gina. Gina's obviously got some unique investigative techniques she wants everyone to adopt. Oi, it's you! Oh, so you've turned up at last. Mind you, I ain't been here long myself. Hello again, Gina. Someone's only just left. You're lucky you missed that. Oh, so he was here. You went prancing around in here, pouring that stuff and flicking that out of his and then just scarpered. Oh, he's finished investigating already, you mean? Yeah, he didn't stop to say nothing to no one. Not even me. Gina, would you mind if we investigated too? I don't know. Listen, Odo. You're a lawyer, right? Yes? Why? Yeah, because I'm the one who'll be defending the person accused of doing it, and obviously she's got a personal relationship to the victim, so she should not be on this case. But I'll make an exception for you, Gina, because I love you. Well, you're not thinking of trying to help that Reaper bloke, are ya? No, I'm just a detective enthusiast. Oh, poor Gina. She's never gonna forget, is she? That trial will haunt her forever. Gina, if you don't mind me saying, if Lord Van Zykes really is responsible for this crime, he will be duly and fairly judged in court. I don't care about that. Burn him at the stake. I suppose you're right, yeah? Go on then, Odo. Get investigating. I want to know the truth about what really happened here. Thank you, Gina. Best girl. Well, behind Suzuto. I mean, what? I didn't say that. Okay. Let's put him in a good mood. Have a look at this. Take a look at this. This armband is proof, in Japan at least, that I'm a defense lawyer. Okay, and this badge is proof that I'm a detective. So you're all gonna have to start calling me Inspector Lestrade. In that case, you'll have to start calling me, well, anything but Odo. Ha! Good one, Odo! I could call you Defender Nara Odo if you like. But I don't really trip off the tongue. No. It doesn't have a great ring to it, does it? Okay. Oh, that business. Yep, Inspector Lestrade here soon had that one buttoned up. I thought it was Mr. Sholmes who led that pair into a trap, wasn't it? Oh yeah, what about them? I'm sure they're gonna come back. Listen, Odo. It ain't easy going from East End diver to Scotland Yard detective, right? I can imagine. They're like opposite professions. But anyway, it's all part of the charm, innit? Being a bit loose with the truth when it helps. That's what I love about you, Gina. That's wrong for so many reasons. Don't judge her, Ryunosuke. Maybe I should get Iris to write stories about me. The Adventures of Inspector Lestrade. Yeah, I'd read those. I haven't touched any of Sholmes' books, but I'd read books about you, Gina, in a heartbeat. Do you know this guy? Gina, what do you make of this? Are you gonna... What is that? Evidence? Worked something out about what happened, have ya? Oh, no, not exactly. I ain't been long enough in the job to get all this deducting business yet. But I swear I'm gonna get the person what did this to the boss. Fair enough. I'm sure you have something to say about my letter of introduction. Guess not. Okay, I guess before I talk to her, I should investigate. What does she have to say? Yes, let's investigate the crime scene first. Hello, Bobby. Excuse me. Oh, Inspector. Oh, sir. Poor man. He can't possibly be able to focus on investigating when he's so upset. Poor guy. Okay, he's got one of those detective boards. This looks like some sort of notice board or something. And it's absolutely covered in scraps of paper. Ah, Mr. Naruhodo, look! This, you mean... It's an autopsy report, isn't it? And these are case notes here, and details of prison inmates. Yes. In fact, they're all the sort of documents that only a detective could normally acquire. Yeah, so that's what I mean. It's like, you know, one of those detective boards when you're trying to figure out, like, when you're trying to solve a mystery, right? You have your suspects on there, and you have little strings attaching them to different things. Wait, all the evidence is on there, so you can kind of take a look at it and deduce stuff. That's what it looks like, anyway. What on earth went on in this room? Some old newspaper cuttings. Ah, and this one here. Maybe he was trying to solve some, like, case, like, unofficially. So, like, he's not on a case, but he just needed a private place where he could kind of figure this out in secret. Oh, yes, the advertisement, you mean? To the Red-Headed League. But why? What's that doing here? It all comes back to that. Whoever occupied this room was clearly interested in it for some reason. Oh, what's this a picture of? Oh, it's a photograph stand. I suppose it must be a picture of one of Inspector Gregson's family members. Ah! What's the matter? Your eyes look like they're about to pop out of your head. They are, look! Mr. Naruhodo, quickly! It's a woman, I saw that much. What? Why do I feel like this woman is familiar somehow? Oh, come on, Ryunosuke. This is the third time you've seen her. Well, unless I'm wrong, but that's our, what's her name? I mean, I know who it is. Juror number 2. What's her actual name? Evie? Yeah, Vigil. That's what I was looking for. Mrs. Vigil. Evie Vigil. That's her, right? Now I'm second guessing myself. Yeah, it's gotta be her. Of course he's familiar. We met her only this morning. Stupid. Ah, it's Mrs. Vigil? This makes no sense. Why would there be a picture of Mrs. Vigil in here? To be frank, I don't think I've ever been more stumped. I'm sorry to say, I have no idea either. There we go. A photographic print of a smiling Mrs. Vigil in her younger years. It was found on a desk at the scene of the crime. Now, we don't know that the stuff necessarily belonged to Gregson. This could, because obviously Van Zykes isn't the one who killed him, I'm assuming, so there was a third party who did it. And this could have been his or her apartment, probably his apartment. Interesting, fascinating. Let's take a closer look at that. Okay. She's wearing some kind of amulet thingy. An earring. Other than that, nothing really stands out. Her hairstyle's a little different. I don't know how old the picture is. Okay. Chimney. An empty fireplace makes the room feel even colder than it would be otherwise, doesn't it? It's thick with dust, look. I think it would be fair to say it hasn't been used in a very long time. In other words, whoever lived in this room must have been extremely hardy in cold weather. Or nobody lived here at all and merely visited when the occasion arose. I wouldn't like to say which is more likely. No, that's right. It's one or the other. Okay. Okay, we can't go this way. There's a door. What do you have to say, Mr. Officer? Excuse me. Sorry, sir. Can't see a thing, sir. Too many tears, sir. And the hat is covering my face. Right. Perhaps I better leave you to your work then. What about you? Are you too depressed? Excuse me. If you're looking down on us from the great beyond, Inspector, don't worry. We'll look after things at the yard. I've interrupted some deep thoughts here. Okay, I'll obviously save the body outline for last. Oh, look at that. I can see a red wig already. So, was Gregson trying to get into the Red League? Or did his killer leave that behind? Let's see what this is. A candelabra. The top of one of the candles in this candle holder has been completely blown off. Yes, there's wax spattered on the wall behind, look. That's odd. I suppose if a bullet had hit it, it does seem likely that the bullet hit the candle. Can they get the bullet? Having first passed through the inspector's body. Ugh. Now that wax on the wall looks like blood to me. Maybe it is. A candelabrum from the wall of the room on the Fresno street where the inspector was found dead. The top of one of the candles appears to have been blown off. The one that's been blown off is much taller than the others too. Let's have a look-see. A look-see doodle. Just want to start with that. Ah! There's some black marks here, look. Yes, they look like some sort of scorch marks. So perhaps the bullet struck the candle here, do you think? It's only this one candle that's been cracked in half, it seems. Yes, I think you might be right. Firearms are rarely used by criminals in Japan. So I'm afraid I'm not particularly knowledgeable about them. Yeah, from what I know, I think even police officers in Japan don't have guns, right? At least I feel like I've heard that. I think that's it. So I'm pretty sure like firearm violence is very low in Japan. Oh. Let's look at the window. Somebody's very haphazardly nailed those boards over the broken glass, haven't they? You couldn't even really call it a window anymore. What's with this game and boarded up windows? Well, if you remember the window in Mr. Natsume's room, that was totally blocked up with bricks. That's exactly my point. Yep. I talked at the wrong time. Well, if you remember the window in Mr. Natsume's room... Oh wait, I read that. This one does at least still let in some light, so you could say nothing more about it. I'm starting to feel even more sorry for Mr. Natsume now. Okay. Gregson dropped his favorite toy. Oh, what's this? It would appear to be a little model policeman. It's rather charming, isn't it? In a way. It's a cutie patootie. Seeing as it's on the floor here, do you think it belonged to Inspector Gregson? I don't think so, but you never know. Who knows what he's into. It's a little hard to imagine Lord Van Zykes playing with something like this. It's only about 8 centimeters tall. It could have fallen out of someone's pocket, I suppose. I think we should record it as evidence, just in case. Yes, I agree. It is rather delightful after all, in a way. Okay, a small and rather endearing model of a British policeman found at the scene of the crime on Fresno Street. Let us have a look-see. The helmet of this charming policeman appears to be a little worse for wear. It's definitely got marks on it. I'm not convinced about the charming part, but yes, you're right. The head part looks like it's been fairly heavily manhandled. Almost as if somebody has enjoyed twisting it around and around for fun. That's messed up, Mr. Naruhodo. Shall we try twisting it around and around too? For fun? Is there gonna be something, maybe there's something hidden in there? Oh. What's that? It appears to be some sort of key. But it's tiny though. It couldn't be a key for a door, not at that size. So what is it for, I wonder? Aha! Giving it a twist causes a key-like shaft to pop out from the base. Okay, can we examine that part? This looks like some sort of key. Yes, it does. We established that already. A very tiny and simple key. What's a little key doing inside a figurine of a policeman in the first place? And what's it for? All in due time, Ryunosuke. All in due time. Okay. Let's keep investigating. I'm sure this isn't important. This is presumably the murder weapon, then. Oh my! It is real, I suppose. A real gun! I think so. Guns are so rare in Japan, I really know very little about them. That's one way to know for sure, Mr. Naruhodo. Fire a shot! Do it! No. You got 3 policemen in here. Try shooting one and see what happens. If I did that, I'd be looking for a skilled lawyer to represent me in court. Slightly safer just to ask someone who might know, I think. The murder weapon that was found at the scene of the crime on Fresno Street. Probably best to avoid handling it. So, maybe it won't let me examine it? I know it does. Best not to handle it, but let's do it anyway. I suppose this must have been the murder weapon. Oh my! It is real, I suppose. I think so. Guns are so rare in Japan, I really know very little about them. Oh, maybe it won't let me... Okay, yeah, so I can't handle any part of it until I... Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I don't know if these are 2 separate things, or... So I suppose this is with the victim? That's right, the rope is laid around the body to show exactly how it was found. Poor Inspector Gregson himself has already been taken away. And would probably be under Dr. Sight's scalpel by now, if not for what happened last week. From the shape of the rope, it would appear that the inspector was curled up in a ball, in fetal position. That's a little sad. Are you feeling alright, Mr. Naruhodo? You look like you've just seen a ghost. I know it's just a rope, but, well, it conjures up quite a terrifying image, that's all. Especially with that bloodstain next to it. Oh, I do understand. In some ways, what we picture in our minds can be even worse than reality. She just sounded so strong, though. She's taking this far better than I am. Okay, let's take a look at the wig. Ever since we came in here, I can't take my eyes off this thing. Oh, funnily enough, neither can I. It's a hairpiece, isn't it? Oh my gosh, I know who the killer is. Oh my gosh. It's Ron Weasley, of course. He left his hair behind. It was a wig the whole time. Ugh. So obvious. It is. It is. A bright red hairpiece. And I suppose the fact that it's right there next to where the body was found means we have to accept that Inspector Gregson wore wigs, does it? And it's just a flame-colored red, too. Yes. That's a color we've come across very recently and elsewhere, isn't it? Exactly. This is a vital clue, I'm sure of it. A flame red wig found at the scene of the crime on Fresno Street. Presumably, it belonged to Inspector Gregson. Okay. Well, now that we found a whole buttload of evidence, we can present some of it to Gina. Hang on, we gotta go back. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. I don't think so. Okay, so usually I present stuff to her first. Like maybe I can present to the gun and she can. I'll do that last. Let's start from here. Okay. Who's that? I don't care. Okay, she didn't have anything to say about any of the evidence I picked up, except I haven't tried the gun yet. So let's give that a shot. Oh. Okay, I guess she's not the person for the job. Okay, in that case we'll just talk to her. Gina, what was Inspector Gregson doing here in the first place? How should I know? That's what I want to know. It's what? Half a year since I got out of the clink? That's why I decided to give up me diving and become a detective instead. Oh yes, Mr. Sholmes has twisted the inspector's arm to agree to take you on as an apprentice, didn't he? Something like that, I think. Anyway, the point is, I didn't really know much about the boss till then. But it turns out, he's a bit of a legend at the yard. Goodness, really? They say he managed to solve some really tricky case. Just like that. He did? Yup. And ever since then, he started going out on all sorts of investigations. But it was on his own. That's probably what he was doing here. No one else at the yard even knows what half the cases he's working on are, apparently. I thought it was supposed to work, is it? So what was the legendary inspector doing in a dingy little room like this? Probably solving a case. I know he had a lot of respect for the Reaper and all, and look where that landed him. Respect for the Reaper? In what way? I heard him say as much. I'll take my hat off to that fella. Where's words? Not how the general public feels, is it? Most people are terrified of the Reaper. Maybe Gregson sees it as like justice being done, like you know how like in a superhero movie you always have like people who are like on the side of the vigilante, and then you have the others who are opposed to it, even if sometimes they're a good guy, sometimes or perceived as one. Like you look at Spider-Man and be like, oh, he looks fun, but then somebody like Batman who's scary. It's no wonder a lot of people are hesitant, like, okay, this guy's nuts. I didn't realize Gregson held the Reaper in quite such high regard. He said something else to me and all. That I didn't need to worry about that Reaper, because he only goes after people that are bad. It did kind of set me mind at ease when he said that. And now look at him. Right. Okay. The crime scene. What is this place then? Does anyone live here? Apparently it's been rented by some cove called Hugh Boone. Hugh Boone? It's a sort of here today, gone tomorrow name, that, isn't it? Yeah, he's what we call an unidentified person. We haven't been able to get in touch with him. I see. Well, judging from appearances, I have to say this place hasn't been lived in for a long time, if ever. Right, all the lads from the yard piled down to get stuck into the investigation. So I wonder if, maybe Gregson has been... Maybe this is what Gregson's been doing the whole time. Maybe he's been in here, and maybe he bought out this apartment under a fake name or something. But there's so little air, no one knew what to do with themselves. I do wonder. Yes, Miss Uzuto? Well, could it be that this Hugh Boone is in fact Inspector Gregson himself? My thought exactly. What? How could that be? So, a thought just occurred to me, right? If this is indeed Gregson's room and he has a picture of Evie in here, is Gregson by any chance Mr. Vigil? That would be weird. Well, like that would... Again, I like throwing out those pie in the sky theories, but why else would he have a picture, a random picture propped up of her? Unless Mr. Vigil, like, is the one who killed Gregson or something. Well, if he was investigating on his own, it's quite possible that this was in fact some kind of secret office of his. Yep, we're on the same wavelength. I never even considered that. That's why I'm the one controlling you, Ryunosuke. Nice work, Suze. Suze. We're actually following a line of inquiry like that ourselves. You are? Get with the program, Ryunosuke. If you look around the room, you'll see there's a few things that hint at it. We should really investigate this place in detail. I did that. The incident. I see, that's where the poor inspector was found. Over there. Yep, where the blood stain and the outline is. Yeah, that's right. They said it was a single bullet what did him in. Apparently the bullet went right through him and struck the candle tree on the wall. Oh yes, it's blown one of the candles apart completely. And the gun used is there on the floor. It's the Reaper's, isn't it? No denying that. What? Really? Really, how do you know? How do you know that? Take it easy. Almost knocked my hat off. I don't know what to do with myself when you stare at me with them big wide eyes. I'm only saying what I've heard. I don't know much about guns myself. Okay, so she definitely wasn't the person to show the gun to. But there's some bigwig lawman or whatever who said so. Why don't you ask him? A bigwig lawman, is it? One of these guys? Anyway, Fresno Street went along under that window there. There were some street sellers just outside who had the guns shot. Oh, but I don't recall seeing anybody outside. Yeah, they've all been taken down the yard for questioning. That's why. We're talking about the yard's new inspector, yeah? After all, they'll be getting a grilling. Grilling some steaks. You think we might be able to speak with those street sellers ourselves? I doubt it. Glad that the yard will just want to know what you're snooping for, and you'll be up for a grilling and all. So we can't interview the witnesses then. For shame. Okay. So can I try talking to one of these police officers about the gun? Maybe this guy here. He seems like a bigwig. Or not. It won't let me talk to anybody. There's the gun again. Maybe if I try showing her the gun now, maybe let me see if this... Nope. I just wanted to see if maybe she'd call one over or something. Okay, I'm not really sure. Can we go somewhere else? I guess, what's his face? Van Zykes himself might know about the gun. Except, we can't do anything, so never mind. Who could we talk to about the gun? I feel like there's a lot of places. Yeah, I didn't think it would be here. Strongheart. 1st of November, British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. You made good time. I took an express train back to London. Who's that? Who's that? I feel like Strongheart's always talking to somebody in here. I can hear Lord Strongheart, can you? Yes, it sounds as though he's talking to someone. Oh, that Kazuma? Is everything in place? I had a private compartment on the train so I could check all the paperwork. It's... Kazuma-sama! Hey! I wonder if he's... Like I said, I wonder if he's gonna be the prosecutor. Ah, your timing is impeccable! It is? No doubt you had heard the sickening news about the Reaper's latest devilry. Yes. I'm sure you don't believe it, of course, though, Lord Strongheart. That Lord Van Zykes could have done such a thing to Inspector Gregson? No, of course not. I believe only in the facts. And the facts in this case point to one thing. The unavoidable accusal of Lord Van Zykes for this crime. Better not be setting him up. We must bring charges against the Reaper for taking the life of our legendary detective. Oh no, surely not. Our legendary detective, what's his name? Georgie? It's a truly regrettable situation. Tomorrow the Forensic Science Symposium finally begins. At the very least, though, we can show the world our justice system's swift and equitable processes. So does that mean the trial is tomorrow? Precisely. In fact, this is a fine opportunity for introductions. I know who that is. Kazuma. Hello there. Ah, but of course, you've already acquainted, aren't you? You're already acquainted. Mr. Oscar here will be present at tomorrow's proceedings. Leading the prosecution. I knew it. Wait. What the dicks? Kazuma? As I'm sure you're aware, he's a very capable practitioner of law. Kazuma-sama, a prosecutor? No, he is the defense attorney. Look at that. That's cool. He's just standing there in the background. Yes, I am here. Okay. I don't think there's any need to examine anything in here. Probably no point in showing him any of this stuff either. But you know, I can't resist. Okay, I don't think he has anything to say about any of the evidence, so I'll just talk to him. Oh, there you go. I can talk to him about the killer's gun. I tried presenting it to him, but that did nothing. Let's start with that. Oh yes, we noticed that there was a gun at the scene of Inspector Gregson's death. Do you know if it belonged to Lord Van Zykes? That would be a question of the lead detective investigating the scene. Which is Ogina? Well, the thing is, she wasn't sure, so she told me I should ask somebody higher up who might know. What do I pay these people for? That's right, Mr. Naruhodo, be direct. Be assertive. It's certainly a model that's issued to all personnel involved in law enforcement, yes. Which includes prosecutors, as I'm sure you can imagine. In that case, it could actually have belonged to the victim. Darn it. No, Gregson had his gun on his person. What about Lord Van Zykes? He claims it's currently not in his possession. Uh-oh. What? According to his story, he lost it. In short, it's more than a little suspicious. But just because the gun in question is the same type as the defendant's is no proof that it's actually his. Ooh. That's not looking good. It's not looking good for him. No, of course not. Nevertheless, the situation is grave for Lord Van Zykes. I'm sure you can imagine that tomorrow's trial will be closely followed all over London. In fact, no, people all over the Empire will be watching closely to see how it unfolds. My Empire! Wahaha! There's no salvation for anyone in a trial prosecuted by the Reaper of the Bailey, and now, Reaper himself must stand in the dock. Quite so. The public will want answers about the Reaper. Answers about how and why those who escaped conviction subsequently died mysterious deaths. But Lord Van Zykes firmly denies any involvement in such matters. And there have been thorough investigations that have proven him to be innocent. That's certainly true. Or it has been, at least. Until now. Ah. What you talking about? No, tomorrow's trial will mark the start of a new chapter in our country's great judicial history. Uh-oh. I don't like the sound of that. Okay, on to Prosecutor Asagi. Oh, it's gonna be so cool having him as a prosecutor. So, Cosmo will be prosecuting tomorrow? That's right. But he's a defense lawyer, Lord Strongheart. I mean, the armband I've been showing you is his. Is it not? Accomplished young law practitioners cannot pick and choose their roles. And imagine what it will mean for the prosecution to know the strategies commonly employed by the defense. A devastating combination, wouldn't you agree? Absolutely. Not good for us. I've no doubt at all that Cosmo would be razor sharp as a prosecutor. But why Kazuma-sama? And why aren't we talking to him directly? He's just standing there. There are surely many other highly skilled prosecutors in Great Britain. It was a personal request. I asked to be assigned to the trial. I remember I gave him kind of like a similar voice to Van Zykes. It might have just been the Van Zykes without the maybe without the accent. It's really been a while since I've had to voice him. Even during his reveal, he was voice acted. It was a personal request. I asked to be assigned to the trial. You asked for this? But why? It'll all become clear tomorrow. I'm guessing you intend to stand for the defense, don't you? Yeah? Although, the Reaper appears to be turning down all offers of representation. I'm surprised that the personal request would have been upheld. It seems unprecedented. Quite exceptional, in fact. You are quite right, Miss Mikotoba. Tomorrow's trial will be unprecedented and exceptional in every way. Ah. I feel like all these cases are. After all, the accused is one of Britain's greatest prosecutors, the pride of the Empire. It would be unwise to give the public a reason to perceive it as the judiciary closing ranks. So that's why you're happy to let a foreigner handle the prosecution? Ah. Ryunosuke. Let's see how your skills have been honed after practicing law in this land for so many months. It's on. It's on, Kazuma. Kazuma, I don't understand why you're being so hostile to me now. This isn't going to end well, my friend. Okay. Good talk. Oh wait, so now that can I examine the gun myself now that I talked to him about it? So this is the type of revolver that's standard issue for members of the judiciary then? Yes, and when I asked about whether records are kept about who they're issued to, I was told that for the past 5 years, they've been engraved with a unique serial number. Oh, but as far as I can tell, there's nothing like that on this gun. Which tells us that it must have been issued longer ago than that. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, that's it. So I guess I'm done with you. Oh, okay. Kazuma, what's up? I'm sorry for all the worry I've caused you, but it'll be alright now. Has your memory completely returned? Yes, completely. I remember everything. Yeah, that's good at least. Including what I was coming here to do. Right. We've been holding the fort for you. Kazuma-sama, I can't tell you how happy I am to see you alive and well like this. But how did you come to be here in London when you were suffering from amnesia? It was the voice. This past year, I've been hearing it in my head constantly, saying the same thing over and over. Go to London. That's where your destiny awaits. You hearing voices? That's great. It was that voice that guided me here to London. I'm so sorry for what's happened. Anyway, my memory might have returned to me, but there's something that won't return to the way it was before. Huh? What do you mean, our friendship? I'm a prosecutor now, so I'm sure our paths will cross again very soon. Yeah, no doubt. Doesn't look like we're going to glean much more here. Well, thank you very much, Lord Strongheart. Remember, tomorrow's trial will go down in our empire's history. Ta-ta! There's much you could learn from the public gallery. I won't be in the gallery. I will be defending Van Zykes, hopefully. Sorry to have taken up so much of your time. We'll see ourselves out.
Hold it!
Nakazuma? Before you go, Ryunosuke. Oh, what is it, Kazuma? Buddy? I just wanted to thank you. Kazuma-sama, what? You took my determination to heart and brought it with you over the ocean in my stead. And you carried out my role to perfection. We try. You always were intent on studying British law in order to change our own justice system. It was your dream, and Mr. Naruhodo didn't want that to die with you. What a good friend I am, right? I mean, come on. I literally carried your dream for you. Yes, but I had another purpose for coming here. Oh? Didn't know about that. You can tell me? I actually have a favor to ask. Which is... This trial will be prosecuted tomorrow. I'd like you to be there to see how it ends. Right in front of me, as the defense counsel. Yes! Why? What's this all about? I know you have what it takes. But Lord Van Zykes would never put his fate in my hands. On the contrary, he recognizes your talent. He just being a typical tsundere. He does. It's not easy to see behind the facade sometimes. Here, have a look at this. Ah, he's smiling! Hang on, so that's him in the front. Gregson's in the picture. Is that his brother? Is that before his brother died? Because I don't recognize the guy on the left. That's Lord Van Zykes and Inspector Gregson. In a photograph that must have been taken some time ago by the look of it. And who's the third person? Clint was his name, I think? His brother? It was displayed very prominently in the detective's office. In Gregson's office, you mean? Where Van Zykes is? Yes. What I'm trying to say is if you really think you can trust the Reaper, you might find that some straight talk makes him take a different view. Take it. An old photograph, print displayed rather prominently in Inspector Gregson's office, as if it was a treasured memory. Oh, that's sweet. I still think that's probably Clint. They definitely look similar. Van Zykes, I mean. Van Zykes and that guy. I don't understand. Why are you giving me this? Just hurry, Ryunosuke. Visiting hours at the prison are almost over. What are you doing, Kazuma? Bye. Anything else to say? No, okay. To the prison! Da, 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 da. Prison. You better want to talk to me now. 1st of November, local prison, cell 1. Hey, buddy! Oh, good lord, you're back. Still here, reading the same book I was before. Lord Van Zykes is still reading that letter. That's right. He's reading a letter, not a book. We've been gone quite some time, though. Either he's an incredibly slow reader, or it's an incredibly long letter. Yeah, really. Or maybe he's just reading it over and over again, because it's a cherished... it's all he has of his friend. at the moment. I might even be able to read English faster than he can. Don't diss the man. I was intending to ignore you entirely. But I can't take that standing down. Or sitting down. But I can't turn a deaf ear to such an insulting Nipponese. Oh, sorry. I didn't think you'd hear that. I'm not deaf like you. I had the case notes brought to me in secret. I was reading them the parts of the time. Okay. So he was reading something different this time. Yes, we heard that your trial is set for tomorrow. Which is none of your business. So, have you found a lawyer? That's also none of your business. How many times must I reiterate the same thing? This has nothing to do with you. In other words, no. We were just talking to Lord Strongheart and the prosecutor for your trial has been decided. I'd expect nothing less. Though I have no idea who it is. We do. It's going to be Kazuma Asagi. Damn it. Asagi. That made the color drain from his face. He probably recognizes the name. If he knows who the professor is. Because I don't think he knew who the name of the apprentice he was working for. Well, I mean, that was working for him the whole time. Well then. It seems I'm going to have to engage in conversation with you again after all. It's just my luck. Okay, more stuff to talk about. Should I present? You know what, I'm going to talk to him about all this other stuff and then we'll present the picture. About the gun used to shoot the inspector that was found at the scene. Oh yes, that's not mine. Really? Because common opinion seems to be that it is. What do you expect me to say to that? Just letting you know. Lord Strongheart informed us that you claim to have misplaced your firearm. As embarrassing as that is, I'm afraid it's true. When did you lose it then? I don't remember. That? I don't know. You're not giving us much to work with here. Oh! I was issued with a revolver when I first became a prosecutor 10 years ago. It's always 10 years ago. I must have stowed it somewhere, I suppose. Or left it somewhere, perhaps. Dang, so they really don't use guns much. He had a gun, but he just left it somewhere for 10 years? Didn't even know about it? Or didn't care to use it? We have something in common with Lord Van Zykes after all, Mr. Naruhodo. A talent for misplacing things. Yeah. No, this had nothing to do with me. Don't drag me into it. Don't make the mistake of associating me with this Nipponese. How dare you? Oh dear. The rift is very wide, isn't it? So it's not decisive evidence, clearly. But it doesn't look good, that's for sure. Okay, let's talk about, Gregson. Gregson's transfer to the Paris Police Prefecture had finally been arranged for the coming month. But he'll never make it to France now. It's a tragedy. Oh yes. Kind of think of it, he did mention something about that, didn't he? I wonder, does it happen often? Being transferred internationally, I mean? It's the first time I've ever encountered it. Oh, the Paris police welcoming an English detective is almost inconceivable. Inconceivable! Sorry, did I say that? I can't imagine what kind of magic Gregson must have worked to put that arrangement in place. Huh. It sounds like that mystery has even the Reaper perplexed. I'm afraid to say that we were very ignorant about Inspector Gregson's standing. We hear that he was considered something of a legend at Scotland Yard. Again, it was 10 years ago that he first made a name for himself by uncovering a decisive piece of evidence that exposed the professor's identity. If it wasn't for Gregson's singular approach to the case, the discovery would never have been made. What sort of approach? After my brother's life was taken, the inspector pushed for a full autopsy. Oh my, 10 years ago? Why is that so surprising? Autopsy was considered a desecration of the body at the time and rarely performed. Oh, interesting. And my brother was of course a noble. That made the idea of it even more unthinkable. But something Gregson had dug up in his investigations made him determined it was necessary. I guess he uncovered something very important. His powerful conviction somehow influenced the House of Lords, and as a result, I could avenge my brother's death. So, you must have had great confidence in the Inspector's abilities then. And it's even more inconceivable that you could have taken his life. I don't have confidence in anyone. Yeah, he's trust issues. Oh. And I'm sure Gregson felt the same way. I've no doubt he thought of me only as the ominous Reaper, just like the rest of London. I don't know about that. What really went on between Lord Van Zykes and Gregson, I wonder? What was the true nature of their relationship? Well, that's right, we did find out that, Gregson actually, liked the Reaper, the Bailey. So even if he thought Van Zykes was the Reaper, he would have respected him. Asagi. 10 years ago, my older brother, who was the director of prosecutions at the time, was murdered. And the killer, as you know, was a visiting student from the Far East. Not a single day goes by when I don't curse the name Asagi. Well, he's been your apprentice all along, so... Genshin Asagi was Kazuma-sama's father. So what cruel twist of fate is this now, 10 years later? The man's son is to crucify me in some kangaroo court. I still don't understand why Lord Strongheart apprenticed Kazuma to you. It's what he does. No doubt he knew of the young man's true identity from the outset. Oh yeah, of course. I've been wondering if Van Zykes knows that his apprentice was Kazuma. Obviously he does. He was there when Kazuma revealed himself to us. But what could he have been hoping to achieve? Let's not forget that it was only 8 days ago that Kazuma recovered from his amnesia. Why would Lord Strongheart assign this trial to somebody like that? Good questions. Asagi. That name is the very epitome of my bane. The bane of my existence, some would say. The bane that is you Nipponese. Right. Your hatred of all us Japanese. The Nipponese bane. It is interesting how this game is tackling racism, kind of he hates the whole Japanese race because of this professor. It's only just been appointed as a prosecutor when it happened 10 years ago. My brother Clint, the director of prosecutions, was hunting down a mass murderer. The so-called professor, assigned to the investigation as his partner, was a certain visiting student dispatched from Scotland Yard. And that was Genshin Asagi? Exactly. I developed a deep respect for the man. He seemed noble-minded and chivalrous in the extreme to me. But none of us saw the true nature of the man. Ooh, I like this music. I haven't really stopped and commented that much through this Let's Play, but I really do like the music as well. It really fits the time period, and there's certain themes I really like. I feel like we haven't heard this one, or maybe we haven't heard it recently. So I lost everything when it happened. My esteemed brother, the people I believed in, and any semblance of right prevailing over wrong. Poor guy. Oh, how awful. To avenge my brother, I prosecuted Asagi's trial. It wouldn't ordinarily have been allowed, but I beleaguered the ascribed prosecutor until he consented. I badgered the hell out of him. What do you mean by the ascribed prosecutor? The man in charge of the professor case inquiry, Lord Mail Strongheart. Oh! Wait, what? Lord Strongheart? I knew he'd be tied to all of this. He was a highly accomplished prosecutor, but he agreed to relinquish the trial to me and act as my advisor instead. Since that time, he's the one person whom I felt indebted. I'm sure he must have seen your zeal for the case and recognized your potential as a prosecutor. Anyway, time passed, but then earlier this year, who should arrive in London but you? Me? Ah! And of all things, as a lawyer. That's me. I felt your animosity the first time I ever faced you in the courtroom. Your obvious deep loathing of us Japanese. I kept telling myself it was all illogical. But for so many years, that hatred had festered inside me. I could no longer control it. Yeah, that's what happens when you hold on to grudges like that. And I can understand why. Now I know the history. But in the same way that I've long felt the Nipponese to be the bane of my life, to Cosmo Asage, I am the bane of his. The Reaper, who sent his father to the gallows. That's one way to look at it. He's looking for revenge, and he intends to take it in court tomorrow. You think? I didn't get that vibe. At all. Okay. Now I'm going to show you the picture. With Van Zykes. We came by this old photograph. Where did you get that? Not important. You look so happy, though. It was taken when I became a qualified prosecutor. It's almost unbelievable. I assumed it was long lost. Is the man on the left there your brother? Yes, that's my brother, Clint. The person on the left is Lord Clint Van Zykes. It had to be, really. Who else could it be? Apparently, this picture was prominently displayed in Gregson's office. He had a deep respect for you, you know. Were you aware of that? Respect? That's nonsense. No, we've heard someone attest to it very clearly. Inspector Gino Lestrade, no less. That's true. Well, maybe once, yes. There was a time things were like that. We were brothers in arms, jovially discussing the future of justice and other such lofty subject matter. That was a nice glimpse of the past. I thank you. You are welcome, buddy. I know you're a good guy. I feel as though I got a nice glimpse of the past then, too. There was a glimmer of light in his eyes, a brief twinkle, an insight into the true nature of this man known to all as the Stone Cold Reaper of the Bailey. Van Zykes is definitely one of the most fascinating characters, you know? And I think I've said before that, like, in a lot of the Ace Attorney games, some of my favorite characters are usually the prosecutors. They're often so, like, complex and, like, there's usually some, like, character growth because they're, like, the antagonists, quote-unquote. But there's usually a lot more to them that you discover throughout the course of the games. Van Zykes is no exception. And we got 2 games to flesh out his character as well. Mr. Naruhodo. Oh? That's the first time he's ever used my actual name. What is it? Are you gonna ask what I think you're gonna ask? I've lost all confidence in my country's justice system. I don't trust the police, the judiciary, or lawyers. But there's still one thing I'm willing to believe in. Me? What's that? That what you see in the eyes of another across the courtroom? A simple determination to know the truth. Yes! Lord Van Zykes! From the very first time we crossed on the Bailey almost a year ago now, I couldn't deny it, even though I dearly wished I could. He was a loathsome Nipponese, who has absolute integrity as a lawyer. From the very beginning, he's liked us. Or, maybe like is a strong word, but he's seen the value in us. In our good nature. There are only 2 other men I've known with that same look in their eyes. My brother, Clint, and Genshin Asagi. The man he idolized and the man who betrayed his trust in the most hideous way. When you showed me that photograph just now, it reminded me. You mean this photograph? That's the one. Gregson looks happy too. Back then I was able to laugh. I was free of the shackles of mistrust that plagued me now. I look to the future with hope. Since then I've protected myself against betrayal by refusing to trust anyone. But you trusted me, boy? But at times the mire into which I've sunk makes it almost impossible to breathe. I am so sorry. So, Mr. Naruhodo, I want to believe in that look in your eyes. I need to believe in it. In tomorrow's trial, will you advocate for me? You betcha! You and me, Van Zykes. We're gonna rock that courtroom. Of course I will. It would be an honor. Yay! I'm so pleased, Mr. Naruhodo. Then my life is in your hands. Don't screw this up. Sorry, I'm not good at being nice. For Lord Van Zykes. That must have been an incredibly hard thing to ask. Yeah. Which is why I simply cannot let the man down. Tomorrow, in the Old Bailey, against my old friend, Cosmo. This is gonna be so good! Defending Van Zykes, who is now, like, on a... It's like, the tables have switched, you know what I mean? Like, to an extent, you know? Now we're on the same side as Prosecutor Van Zykes. And Cosmo, who, at least, you know, before he died, was our assistant, or I guess we were, you know, he defended us at one point, right? In that very first trial, he defended us. And now we're going up against him as the prosecutor. Oh, it's gonna be so good. And I'm guessing that's it. To be continued. Ah. That worked out well too, time-wise. I said the last case was like the best one. I can see this one being the best one. I'm excited. I'm so excited just going into it. Okay, so we are heading into a trial now, and man, this case is getting good already. So Gregson's dead, Van Zykes is the accused, and Cosmo is the prosecutor. I didn't expect any of these events to take place. I might have said at one point that I could see Cosmo go, or I at least thought it would be cool to go against Cosmo as soon as we discovered that he was the apprentice, right? And I had a feeling the moment we saw Van Zykes, you know, Van Zykes was the culprit, the accused, and I started to think about who the prosecutor could be. I was like, what if it's Cosmo? That would be so cool. And it is, so I'm very excited to see what that's like. I don't think we've had, except for both tutorial cases, where we have our usual, baldy guy. I'm blanking out on his name. The bald guy that I love to voice. You know, it's just been Prosecutor Van Zykes. We haven't had another prosecutor to go up against, so this will be cool. And I will not let you down, Van Zykes. That's it for now, and I'll see you guys next time at the trial. So, before that, though, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and like the video, hit that notification bell, subscribe to the channel, and of course, share the video and the channel with your friends, family, and loved ones. I really do appreciate you guys. I'm having a blast with this game. And I'll see you next time. So take care, and bye-bye.